You will not believe what happened to me today. I know maybe I've started other videos like this before, but hey, have I ever disappointed you in my stories? No, but I should rephrase it because it's not what happened to me, it's what happened for me. Because another time, the universe has once again proven that it's always working in our favor. I went to see a couple more places, potential places to live. One was a laneway house and another was a house. And with the laneway house, I don't know what I was thinking because it looked really cute and the idea of it seemed really fun. It was kind of like a loft style laneway house. But in my condition, with what I'm going through mobility wise and all of that, it was ridiculous because I even came there with a trekking pole, like a cane, to try to walk through the lane, the gravelly lane from the main house to the laneway house. And it felt like there were like potholes and very uneven pavement. And I was just having trouble just getting a few steps to the actual house. And then when I got in there, there's 2 levels, so it's gonna have stairs. The laneway house is not just gonna suddenly have an elevator. And yeah, it was good for me to see. I've never been in a laneway house, but in this stage of my life, I'm not even talking about age-wise, just what I'm going through, it just wouldn't work. But the thing is, I had already gotten myself there, not knowing whether I would like it and not knowing how long I would need to stay, because I was planning to maybe check out the area around there as well before my next ride would pick me up and take me to the next place that I was going to go see. But because I had already decided within a few minutes that it wasn't going to work, I had way too much time in that area in the rain. It was pouring rain today. And it is very typical of Vancouver to have rain, but today felt like awfully more rain than usual. And because I was in an area that I didn't know, like I wanted to sit somewhere that I could just warm up a little bit. And someone who was actually going to see the laneway house, I asked him if he knew the area, and he pointed out that there's a coffee shop down one of the streets that's not too far away. Because of I was not oriented right in terms of when we got out of that back laneway house, and I went down the wrong street. Like, I should have gotten to a coffee shop sooner, but I went in a different direction than he had told me, and I didn't realize it till later. And when I was going in that direction, I was like, oh, it's taking a lot longer than he said. And that's what made me realize that this is not the way that he was telling me to go. But there was a girl coming towards me, and she was still funny. She was wearing she had an umbrella with her. And she was like, oh my God, there's so much rain. And I asked her if there was a coffee shop down that way, because she was actually holding a coffee, like a to-go cup. And she said, yeah, actually a few streets down, I just went to this coffee shop. It's really cute. And I got a beetroot latte. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know such a thing existed. And she said, it's delicious. I've never had it before. And she recommended it. And then as she was talking, I realized she had an accent. And I asked her where she was from. And she said, I think she said Rwanda, but definitely there was an African accent there. Anyway, I think she said Rwanda. And I said, oh, my parents were born in East Africa, in Uganda and Tanzania. And so we started talking, and she was like really interested in knowing more about that. And then even though we were standing there in the rain, it was such a great, easy conversation. And it was so nice to connect with someone, like a stranger, in that way. And she was almost at her place. Like we were pretty much in front of her place. And she said, I'm going in right now, but do you want me to bring you an umbrella? And I was like, I didn't know what to say because the part of me was like, I probably should have one. But I didn't want her to give me her umbrella because then she would not have an umbrella. And she said, I have like a lot of umbrellas. And I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, do you want me to get you one? And I said, okay. And so she said, why don't you come and wait in the lobby so you're not waiting outside? And we were talking, and then she went and got the umbrellas, and she brought down two umbrellas, and one of them was like black and white and opened up in a certain way. So she was showing me the comparison between the two, and then the other one was a purple one. And I didn't even give her time to explain how to open it. And I'm like, I want the purple one. And she was like, okay, yeah, take it. And I was like, oh my God, you're so sweet. And I really appreciate it. And she said, yeah, if you're ever in the neighborhood. I said, I don't live that far away, but yeah, I don't know the area very well on these sides of the streets. And but yeah, it would be, she said, if you're ever around here, hopefully I'll see you again. And then we both kind of at the same time said, maybe we should exchange numbers. So she got mine. I miscalled her right away just so she would have my number. And then we texted each other and we said bye. I was like, even though the apartment that I was going to see didn't work out, it kind of worked out here because I met you. And then I realized it kind of worked out that I went the wrong way, took the wrong street because she was on the right street. So the universe again was working in my favor, like making me go the wrong way to lead me to the right way, actually. And so now I had the umbrella, I felt much more at ease without getting totally soaked and stuff. I went to the coffee shop that she told me about. It was really cute. Turns out they have some live music on the weekends, and during the week they have a night of open mic night. So I texted her and said, we should, like, I'll let you know if I come out here again. I will come out sometime and we could meet up for coffee or listen to music. And she said, oh my God, you're so lovely, and I hope you have a blessed day. And that sounds really great. So now I had this purple umbrella, and I was like kind of like a bit of a kid because the only umbrella that I ever really owned was just a few years ago. And it was a transparent umbrella with a red trim and a red handle. And I love this umbrella. I'm not an umbrella person. Like, even though it rains a lot in Vancouver, I actually love the rain. And I tend to like lose umbrellas or find it awkward to hold them when I'm holding other stuff. And I usually didn't mind getting a bit wet in the rain, but this umbrella, I made an exception for. I used it and I kept it because I loved it so much, and it's transparent so you could see the rain through it. And it made me feel like, I don't know, like Mary Poppins with a red umbrella. And I felt like I should be getting some, boots, rain boots, red boots, and just jumping into puddles. Like, it just felt fun to hold this umbrella. I felt like I could do a Singing in the Rain number like Gene Kelly, But that was one of those things that I had to actually get rid of when I got rid of all the stuff in my previous place. So ever since then, I've been umbrella-less again and not really worried about it. But today I really needed it, and the universe brought me one when I didn't even know that I was putting out a vibe that I should have one. And it was purple, which was really fun. Purple on the outside and silver on the inside. And then I was going to another place to see a room that was kind of like Airbnb set up in a house, but you could do it for long term. Actually, this woman said she would be open to doing it for the first time with me long term, which was really sweet. And she sat me down at her dinner table and she said, like, let's talk. And we ended up talking about singing because I was like, how does it work if I were to practice singing in a house with other people? Like, do you guys have a certain schedule? Would that bother you? How thin are the walls? Like, are there certain times that I could do that if I worked around your schedule? And she was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to sing. She was this Vietnamese, really cute Vietnamese woman. And she ends up getting the number I offered her, the number of the vocal training place that I would recommend. And so she got the name of it and she was like, I was like, maybe regardless of whether I, stay here or not, we could practice singing together. Or I could, coax you into doing what you've dreamed of. Like, she goes, I really want to do it. Anyway, we hit it off, but in her house, she has quite a large stairwell. Beautiful place, like an old place, but the way she's decorated, it looks amazing. Like olden kind of classic furniture, which was really cool. But that would be really difficult for me on a day-to-day basis. And I don't know if I would be able to sing there. I mean, she seemed okay with it, but there are other people in the house. Anyway, this made me think that, like, it's interesting how connected things are. Because I thought I was going to see a place possibly for rent. And instead, maybe I help someone, take their big step into actually pursuing something that they've wanted to for all their life. And I thought I was going to see a laneway house that might have been my dream place. And it didn't work out that way. But now I met this new friend. It was really interesting. And because of the whole umbrella situation, I realized that something similar, not the same, but something similar had happened to me months ago, like last year, that I never told anyone about because maybe other people wouldn't think it was a big deal. But for me, it was because I was standing at a different bus stop where I used to live, close to where I used to live. And it was raining a lot. And me, because I no longer had my favorite umbrella with me, I was umbrella-less. And the bus wasn't coming. And in a few moments, I noticed that the rain didn't feel like it was soaking me much anymore, but I could see it in front of me. And then I looked up and to the side of me, and there was a woman that I have never seen in my life. I don't know her. She had an umbrella, and she used it to cover me and her. The crazy thing is that no words were spoken. She did not say anything. I was so grateful. I'm not even sure if I said thank you at first. I know I eventually did. But I was so touched that suddenly I was protected from the rain from someone that had no idea who I was. And she just covered me. Like, I almost want to cry right now because it just made me think of how beautiful people are and how, a lot of times people go around saying like they don't like people or they'll complain about people. And I have these moments that I meet people that do these amazing heartfelt gestures of kindness that I didn't even expect and came out of nowhere. in my last video, I was talking about things that I didn't expect, where someone was rude to me, or when you look at someone and you expect them to be a certain way and they turn out to be completely opposite. Well, this woman, I hadn't even seen her at all. I didn't even know she was next to me. I didn't even know that there was an umbrella with her. I don't know how she kind of snuck up, but she was just holding the umbrella. And I don't think she spoke English. I don't think she said much to me, but she maybe smiled, or just, we had this like inner knowing that just like, she was like, I got you. And it filled me up with so much faith in humankind. And, you know, John Mayer has this song called The Heart of Life is Good, or that's the lyric in it. And it really is. Like, that's how I feel in those moments, where someone is just like, you can be under my umbrella. Now I'm going into other song lyrics. Rihanna, of course. That amazing umbrella song. But yeah, I went out looking for a home and comfort in finding my new place, and I kind of learned that any place that I am can make me feel like home, and there are amazing people out there who really want to help and just see that the heart of life is good, and they're like, let me keep you warm and dry and cover you up. And as I'm saying that, I feel more warmth in me sitting here, and I feel so much gratitude for this place that I'm in right now. And I know I'm going to find my new home, but I'm also very aware that home is with me wherever I am. Thanks for listening. Talk to you all soon.